Math.
Yeah!
Woo! Okay, here we are. Today we are starting this is actually the first truly, purely Algebra 2 topic that we have had thus far. So we have, yay! So we have the radio on again today, but there was an overwhelming response that everybody wanted to keep the radio on as long as people do not sing. Yesterday, people were singing with the radio and it was irritating to other people. So don't sing today. Good. All right, here we go. If I can find my pen. I keep losing all my pens. All right, here we go. So you all see up here, nobody should be talking. You all see up here that we have a new picture. The picture that says one right here. Okay, the square root of -1. Do you like that? Okay, the square root of -1 part math. That will become very clear to you and why that's there after we do our lesson today. It's going to bug me that I'm not doing it in the same color. That's okay though. All right, so imaginary numbers. Yay! Woo! Yay, imaginary numbers. So, everybody, are you ready for this? When I put this up here, everybody shout out what this equals, okay? What does that equal? 6. Good. Okay, now, again, everybody shout out, when I put this up here, what this equals. Oops. Square root of -36.
No solution.
No solution. Until now. Okay. Oh, we just changed the rules. Okay. Now, you all would agree that the square root of 36 is 6, correct? Okay. However, up until now, we have not been able to have a square root of a negative number because it hasn't existed. But the square root of a negative, in particular -1, represents I. So it is 6I. This is actually one of the most terrifying topics to teach for me. And here's why. Because that's the answer. Yes.
All right,
we're pausing for a second. So let's break this down so you all can see how this actually works. So would you agree that I can break up -36 into -1 and +36? Does that, okay. So we know that square root of 36 is 6, and this is what I is equivalent to. I is equivalent to the square root of -1. Okay? So the square root of -36 is 6I. That's where it comes from. So let's write that down here. I is equivalent to basically the square root of a negative. It doesn't even have to be -1. It's a negative. And you guys tell me. Let's say that I took the square root of -1 and squared it. What happens to squared and square root? They cancel, and we're left over with what? -1. So the two things that you should remember are that I squared equals -1, and I equals the square root of -1. Okay? What's up?
Does it always have to be I?
As opposed to?
Like any other.
Yes. Any other letter? Yes, it does have to be an I. In fact, if you look back at all of your previous math textbooks, you'll probably notice that I has always been skipped over. There's no letter I or any variable I that's been used before because it actually represents something, and now you know what. Okay. Yes, question. Yep. Yes. So you want to remember I equals the square root of -1 and I squared equals -1. Remember those. Okay, because here's the thing. When you're going through and doing these problems, fully simplified means that you only have an I left. Either one I or no I's at all. Okay, you don't want to have I to any power other than 1 left in your answer. Okay, sometimes there's no I's left at all, but if there are, there should only be one of them. All right, so like I was saying before, this is one of the most terrifying topics to teach because it's one of those that's so easy that it's scary that I'm worried that you all are going to think it's supposed to be really hard and then make it harder than it actually is. Okay, so let's try not to do that during this class period. Okay, so here's how we're going to go about doing this. Express each number in terms of I. Okay, so can somebody tell me how I might be able to rewrite -7 in terms of +7 times something else? Olivia. Cool, everybody give it up for Olivia. Okay, now from up here, we said that the square root of -1 equals what? I. And then, can we simplify the square root of 7 anymore? No. So our answer is just I root 7. The end. We're done. Don't go any further than that. Don't make it more complicated than that. That's it. They're just saying, make this so that there is no negative radical anymore. So the way you do that is to convert it to an I. Okay? What? Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, right. Okay. Right, so what, Thane? For this, the square root of -1, heart math, what's the square root of -1 equal to again? I. So I love math. Isn't that cute? Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. So, again, the goal here is to get that negative out of the radical. The way we do that is to write it with an I. So can somebody tell me how we can rewrite -49 in terms of +49 times something else? So -49 times something, or sorry, -49 equals +49 times something. Slow?
Can you say that again?
So how do I rewrite -49 in terms of +49 times?
Okay, so wouldn't it be like I 40, I 7?
Good, good. Okay, good. Perfect. So you're jumping ahead. But so you're right. The square root of -1 equals I, and the square root of 49 is 7. So she said I 7. Okay, so just like we don't want to say x7, we say 7x's. Same thing here. So we just want to make sure that the number goes in front. So this is equivalent to 7i. Good. -7i. Negative. Sorry. Questions? Don't overcomplicate it. Are people singing or humming?
No, I'm just shaking my head.
Some people are dancing. Next. Same thing. The square root of -160. Okay, somebody start me out. How can I write -160 in terms of +160 and some other number? Liz. Good. Everybody give it up for Liz. So here's one thing with the radio is you guys literally have to talk way loud because that's okay. Yeah. Yes, good. Okay, so everybody give it up for Brandon. He said the square root of -1 is I. Steve, okay? Now, the square root of 160, can we simplify that at all? How can we simplify that? What can we do? Aiden? We can do the tree. Can I also write it as 16 times 10? That might be a little quicker. You can do the tree if you prefer that, but you like the tree better?
No, I like that.
This? Okay.
Yeah.
This one's a little more direct. What's that?
Learning about I.
This is Crystal's favorite topic. There.
Everything's Chris's favorite topic.
That's like my favorite.
Okay.
Favorite.
The favorite of all time. Okay. So, what is the square root of 16? Everybody shout out. The square root of 16 is 4. Okay, golf. Okay, so I times 4 is 4i, so it's 4i root 10. Can we break down 10 any further? 10 is 2 times 5. Are either of those perfect squares? No. So we're done. Don't overcomplicate. All right. Now, if you thought that was easy, you're going to be floored by the next thing, because it's even easier. Okay, ready? I'm going to put something up here, and I want you guys to just say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? The very first thing. 3i plus 4i equals. Good job. 7i.
Really?
Really? Don't overcomplicate. Are you getting my drift yet?
Yes.
Okay.
That's nasty.
Ready? 3i minus 4i. 4i. 3i minus 4i. Negative 1i, but we don't need the 1 in front of it to know there's only one of them. Okay, last one of this type. Last one of this type is just combining like terms. So we could collect all the i's together and collect all the non-i's together. But before we do that, we have to get rid of some parentheses. So how do I do that? Good, we distribute. Distribute this negative to get 2 minus 3i. Does this set of parentheses serve any purpose right now?
No.
No, so I can just get rid of it. Okay, so now we have like terms or like i's that we can collect and so on and so forth. So 10i minus 3i is 7i, and then we can also combine the negative 4 plus 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is? Negative 2 plus 7i. The end. Don't overcomplicate. We should keep a tally of how many times I say that during this lesson. Okay, questions? I can't hear anything. I used to be able to hear your jokes. Now I can't with the radio. It's like a filter. Yay. But as you all know, Mr. Broughton's listening.
Oh no!
That's not okay. I did not sign anything.
Okay.
We told Mr. Long and he was like,
So-
oh,
Mr. Wong was tripping, so was Mr.
He was
Russo.
like,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
Mr.
good
Russo.
to know. Okay. Shh. Joogie.
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. 6i times 3i. 18. Is it just 18i? What's squared? Good. Okay. And what does I squared equal? Crystal, chime in. Negative 1. So 18 times negative 1 is negative 18. Again, the end. Don't complicate. All right. Last example.
bless you.
All right. The square root of negative 3 times 3i. So the very first step that you all should follow when doing these is get any negatives out from under the radicals. Okay, that always needs to be the first thing that you do when you see this. So how do I get that negative out of the radical? Sloan.
Radical negative 1
Okay, good.
times 3. Radical 3.
Good. And what is the square root of negative 1 equivalent to?
It's equivalent to I.
Good. Everybody give it up for Sloan.
Yay.
So here we are. And remember, in multiplying radicals, we can always multiply what's outside of the radicals together and what's underneath the radicals. So I times 3i is...
Negative 3.
Okay, good, good. You guys are jumping ahead. So it's 3i squared, and then I squared is equal to negative 1. If you have the ability to just jump ahead like that, just do it. Okay, you don't need to go through all of these steps. I'm putting this up here so that we all can see where this comes from.
Yay.
Okay, any
Homework.
questions? Yes, Shuggy. So the square root of negative 5 times the square root of negative 3?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to rewrite these. You can't. The very first thing is get the negatives out of the radicals. So this is like this. So we have I root 5 times I root 3. Then, okay, shh, everybody zip it. So on and so forth. And there are problems like this in your homework. You always just want to make sure that you get the negative out of the radical first, okay? All right. Yay. Everybody go ahead and start your homework.